YouTube. Today I'll be showing you how to make the League of Shadows or Batman gauntlets out of cardstock or cardboard or cereal box cardboard. There's actually a few alternatives that you can do this with. The easiest way, or the better way that I think, is using this kind of cardboard, the cereal box. I actually use Star Crunch with this. And that's all I use for this in a Mike and Ike box. So, the materials that you are going to need are scissors, a hot glue gun, and the cereal box. That's really all you need. And hot glue for the glue gun, of course. So, I'm going to tell you the alternatives first. The first alternative is if you have a ton of these, you can just glue them together so you can make it round like this. Oh, and you'll need a pen or some kind of a thing that you can make a stub out of and make a hole. So then whenever you close it, it stays put. So this is not very secure. You might want to put more, but for right now, for what I got, I just used one. What else? Oh yeah, and the soda bottle is something else that you can use. You can just cut off the top and the bottom, and then you can cut it through the middle, right here. And then you can shrink it and wrap it around your arm to how you see fit. Wash it out first, though, because you are going to get sticky. So what we're going to do first, and I'm going to go with the cereal box way because that's how I did it with my other one. I'm going to set these down to the ground. So you want to take your cereal box and you want to cut it right down here. You just want to make sure that it lays flat. And we will be using most of this, too. So, alright. So make sure it opens up like this. Don't even worry about this piece. It needs to open up like this, right? So now you need to measure it out to your arm. So cut off all the tabs, and I'll be right back, and I'm going to measure it to my arm. Another tip that I need to tell you is make sure, if you are going to paint it, if you're not, then it doesn't really matter which way, but the best way to do it is make sure that the plain side is facing up, so it's easier to paint if you are going to paint it, and it just looks nicer than having all that on there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. You just put it on your arm and you wrap it around. Don't worry about how long it is just yet. Don't worry about if it's too long past your elbow or anything. Just make sure that it's the right radius, or circumference around your arm. There we go. So that's about as good as it's going to get. I'm going to cut it. Make sure it's a little bit bigger too, so then it wraps around your arm like twice, kind of thing, like how this does. It overlaps itself, so then you can fit that pin in there. And so then if you ever kind of grow out of it and you still want to wear it, or you still want to use it as cosplay and you don't really want to make another one, then you can make it a little bit bigger, see? Like that. I didn't make another tab yet because I don't know how big it's going to need to be. So make sure, take it and you kind of just roll it up with paper. It shouldn't rip if you don't put too much force into it. And if it doesn't want to roll up properly, then don't force it because it's going to rip. So now that you got that, now you can, to whichever arm, I'm doing my left arm because I already got my right. Now, wrap it around, make sure that it kind of overlaps a little bit. Mine is being a little difficult, so I'm going to do it like this. Mine overlaps almost just perfectly, so I'm not going to be able to use this one again. If I can put, there, see? Now, I can't move my arm really, so I'm going to cut it down to size. And what I prefer to do is, I like to put this little point for the shoulder, or the elbow pad, just because it looks nice. You can do that too if you want. You don't absolutely have to, but I like to do it. And with this pattern, I accidentally put this a little bit higher than this one, so I kind of just try to keep that pattern up, down, up. And I'm going to do that on my other one. You can do it however, and with the fins, you can make them however shape you want. I kind of try to make it look more like the Dark Knight a little bit, but with my own kind of twist to it. So I'm going to go ahead, make sure that is just about tight enough. Okay. See, just about tight enough. So now I know how to how it does that. So now you can wrap it around, make sure that it's the right point and that the point does point and in the right spot. So make sure it's around your elbow. Mine fits on my elbow just right. So now that you have that, now you need to make their tab. Or if you don't want it like skin tight like what mine is, you can have it out a little bit so then you can just do that. I'm gonna have mine practically skin tight because that's how my other one came out. So approximate it, make sure that you know about where it is. You can push it against the table like what I'm doing, and then you can mark it. So I'm going to do this. Okay, find my pen. There it is. There we go. So I did a little notch like that. Sorry, my hair got in my eye. And then you can wrap it around until it meets that notch. So then you know that's how big your arm is. And then you can, right here, where is it? There we go. So this little cross section right here, this corner is where you kind of want to mark. So then you know about where you can put your notch. So mine's right there. So then just a little bit of ways from that, you can make a little circle, and that's where you're going to put your piece of plastic or piece of pen or whatever. I'm going to use a sturdy piece of plastic that I found from making my plane. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of it. I keep losing my stuff. I'm going to clean it up a little bit though. And it doesn't have to be too long. I ended up making my first one a bit too long and I had to cut it short. So make sure it's not too long but not too short. And there's other ways that you can secure this too. I'm going to end up making another one for my other gauntlet too here in a second. I'm going to pause it. So I got one piece done. This is about how big you want it. Then make another one. Be easy though because these things can fling just about everywhere. Make sure you know where they are. I'm going to cut off another one for my other one. And again, this is only using one box of cereal box. So the remaining stuff you can put away or you can save for later or something. So now that you have your thing marked, now you can glue down your pin. I'm going to put another mark for another pin about here. And then you just take it, you take your hot glue gun. I'm going to show you the first one and then I'm going to pause it. A good dab on there too. So you get a big dab on there and then you put it right where you want it. Because again, like this isn't even a bit too tall. Because the thing is, if it's too tall, you had to wrap it around even more so then you can get it over, and sometimes it won't. That just won't work. So make sure that that stays in place. I'm gonna go ahead and glue my other one down. So let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the other one on. And this doesn't have to be a Batman. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it can be just a League of Shadows one, or just, you know, make your own design, because this is like the simplest gauntlet design that you can make. And you can make like an elvish one if you want, you know, make the point at the end of it with this point too. Anything you want, really. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to do my other one and I'll be right back. Alright. So now I've got these two glued on and my other one. Another thing, make sure that you do these first, because if you try gluing these on while the fins are on, they're going to break. I just broke one, and I just had to re-glue it. So now, this is what you should have. Now you want to make sure that you make the hole in the right spot. And I just use a box cutter, and the trick that you want to do is, since this is going to be poking out, you also want to take the box cutter or whatever you're doing and push it out, because if you push it in, there's going to be an out dent and an indent. And you want the indent going right here and the out dent going right here, so it goes out easier. It's the same principle as like poking a small hole in a water bottle. If you push it inwards, it's not going to come out because it's an outtrusion inside of it. If you were to poke it the other way, then it would easily leak out. If that makes any sense. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on. Well, actually, because we marked it, we don't need to put it on. We just need to put it over and mark it. This is where one is. That's right about. Alright, so now that you got it marked, now you can go ahead and cut the holes. I'll be right back. Alright. Get the holes down. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they work in their proper spot. It seems that they do. This one is really, really tight though, so it's going to fling off by itself. Okay, that one didn't. So if you want, you can just use Velcro or cell mounts to help the pins be secure. So I'm going to go ahead and try and put this thing on. Just like that. Now this is a bit loose because, as you can see, it's really trying to come off. I don't know why. I thought I bent it enough, so if it's not wanting to work, try and find the spot that's trying to be resistant. I found mine. There. So now I'm going to try putting mine on again. Still doing that. Oh, oh crap, that broke. I'll be right back. Alright, I got it to work. You're just gonna have to find the points, and because sometimes it's gonna want to not curve, so you're gonna have to find the points, and I kind of had to mangle it a little bit, but it'll look fine with spray paint on. So make sure it's as tight as it can possibly get. Mine's just moving around, it's weird. I don't know. Well, yours should work. This one worked. I don't know why that one's not working. I'll show you. I just had a little trouble with that because I accidentally glued the pin a bit off center. But yeah, see, it's a lot more stable. So if you glue the pin on normally, then it should work. So now what we're going to worry about is the fins. So, the thing about the fins is that you have to make sure that this actually fits on you. So if it doesn't, like what mine's doing for some reason, go ahead and keep trying to make it fit. So mine's just barely fitting. So now what you want to do is do this and find whichever lateral way is pointing out. That's where you want to mark. So take a pen, get in front of a mirror. I'm in front of the camera so I can do this. Go ahead and mark it. Okay. You can't see, there's a shadow, but I have it marked. Go ahead and try and see. Right there, that line right there. So that's all you need with the gauntlet. So now we can move on to the other piece of the cereal box. So now what you want to do is fold it over, pinch it, like that. Take your scissors, try not to lose them all the time, and make little notches. Don't cut all the way through, just make notches, like that. So then it's easier to fold down. So now what you want to do is glue those two pieces together as best as you can. Because what this is going to do is it's going to give it more strength, and it's going to look a little bit more sturdy, and it is going to be sturdier. The crease, we'll get rid of the crease afterwards, so don't worry about that too much. So just make sure that the two sides are glued down. They don't have to be perfect. Like this actually has a little bit of flap going on. So now what you want to do is draw whatever pattern of a wing that you want. I'm going to copy these because I'm trying to make a matching set here. And there's two ways that you can do this. There's one way. Actually, you know what? I'm going to draw the fin out real quick first. So, go ahead. So just draw one fin if you're going to do it the way that I do it. So here's your fin. Make sure that 3 of them can fit on your piece of cardboard. And there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can do it by making 3 of these, making them up a little bit, and cutting out a strip underneath as well. So, you know, you would have another strip underneath. And all of them would be spaced out, and they have a little tab underneath, and you fold it backwards like this, and then you can glue it on with all 3 attached. I think that's the less sturdy way, because then you have to glue another piece on to make it fold down, and these would be a little bit wobbly. But it's probably the easiest way. The second way, the way that I do it, as you can see, is I cut out each fin individually, and you can trace out the first fin so they're all identical. And then I take another piece of cardboard, and I just glue it on that, so then I can glue that on the actual thing, and it's easier to keep it straight. Because then, if it's going to be unlevel, you can add a little bit of glue to keep it as a support. Or the other way is you just glue the fins on, and I don't like that way. It's going to look nicer, but it's going to be less sturdy, and it's going to have to stick exactly straight up, so it can be a little bit wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this one first. I'm gonna put it on the next spot. You can trace it if you want. I just kind of keep it there and cut while it's on there. Alright, so there's 2 done. Alright, so now that you have both of those done, you can throw this away, or you can keep it for another set, of course. And most of the time, these fins will be splitting. Right now I don't have any of them, I have 2. So what you do is you just put a little bit extra glue in there and you pinch it. I'm going to reload. Just keep pinching it until it is dry, because otherwise it's going to flap out again. So, see, it's almost seamless, and it's a lot more sturdy. So I'm going to do that with this last one. Another thing, if you want, you can put some glue on the actual edge and you can just wipe it over. Only if you have a high heat threshold. Only if you're not used to touching glue, because if you're not, then you're probably going to touch it for too long. You're not going to know how to rip it off of yourself. Or you can use another piece of cardboard, but it's not as accurate as using your fingers. So don't do it unless you know what you're doing. Because I've been doing this for about 3 years now. Alright, so now that that's all set, now you can get your tabs, your old tabs, and you can start making the base plates for them. And I will do that real quick. This is approximately how big you want it to be. And then you just glue the fins on there. Now you should have this. Make sure that this piece is also cardboard facing out, the cardboard color. Otherwise it's going to look weird and it's going to be harder to paint. Now that you got all 3 done, now you can put this on and glue it how you see fit. You can put them right next to each other. You can overlap them if you want. Like, you can do this. If you want, you can have them really spaced out. You can just have 2. You can just have 1 if you want. And you can have them having a certain pattern. Like this one can be up, down, and then further down, or vice versa. You can do whatever you want. It's yours. Or if you're actually looking at a picture and doing it, then good for you. I'm kind of doing my own design. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and glue those on how I want, and I'll be right back. And you're done. If you glued them on right, hopefully they match. Mine kind of match, not quite. So I'm going to have to fix that. This is really loose too. So, but yeah, yours should have turned out a lot better than this one did. This one is just fine for me. This one's kind of weird. I do recommend Velcro though. I don't have any, but yeah. Yeah, I hope you liked that. Hope you enjoyed.